Vice President Edward Sekandi, Prime Minister John Patrick Amama Mbabazi, and his Deputy General Moses Ali are in another world, dozing the evening away, indifferent to what their boss is communicating. Not far away, Finance Minister Maria Chiwanuka as well joins the party, an incident quite strange and happens probably only in Uganda and a few other places.
Had the president not been the one delivering the speech, okay, he would be sleeping too.
These are the men and women that the president trusts to implement his vision of seeing Uganda transformed into a first world country in 50 years' time, and as such, many are raising questions on whether the decision of these top guns in government to sleep at such a critical hour does not affect their implementation as the nation continues to boast of terrible infrastructure, miserable roads, and yawning health facilities.
It is really a very unfortunate situation because this is the time top officials in government really needed to pay a lot of attention.
The same sleeping group is the one that the president enjoys working with. They are all tired, right from the president, the vice president, etc. Those are grandfathers who should, for the few hours they are awake, be playing with their grandchildren.
Hi there, Unity family. We're back again on the AfricaUnity platform. My name is KingIdris and I'm out here to give you guys the new insight on what is going on the home ground in Africa and the international community. My people, you can see the video we started this podcast with this morning, my people. It's shameful where Africa have the youngest population of youth in the world with over 200 million people aged between 15 to 24. That is the youth age bracket in Africa, the fast rising with the highest populated people of fast growing youth population in the world with 15 years of age to 24 years of age. So when Africa have the youngest, fastest growing youth in the world, why do we have to be ruled by older men? People that are old enough to be grandfathers to their children, that's supposed to be playing with their grandchildren. They don't need to play with our lives. They don't need to play with our money. They don't need to play with our future. They need to go home and play with their grandchildren. You can see in Uganda, we're basically talking about East Africa and Uganda today. You can see the president of Uganda talking to his people, and the people are sleeping. They are practically sleeping while they were having a meeting talking about the future of the beautiful country of Uganda. So these older men are the ones that are handling the future of the fastest growing youth population in the world. Why don't the youth take the future and move ahead with it? We need to 14 our youth. Anybody old enough to be a grandfather should go back home and take care of his grandchildren. My people, Africa itself, the continent where we come from, is being basically named as the mother continent due to it being the oldest inhabitant continent on Earth, on planet Earth. And a lot of human history, ancestral history came from Africa, and a lot of people have lived in Africa for more than 5 million years. This is a continent rich with culture, tradition, Arabian lands, a continent that at the time have the highest, richest man ever on the world, in the world. And this continent at the time is still at the largest, hottest desert Africa. And this continent now, as we're speaking, is home to the world's oldest universities. Africa, my people, is home to the oldest world universities. We can trace this history down to Mali, Timbuktu, Gao. You know, a lot of noble scholars live in Africa and have enormous history. And between 15,000 to 2,000 languages are being spoken in Africa. 15,000 to 2,000 speaking languages, my people. So this is huge. And Africa is the largest, is the second largest continent on earth. With the second largest, we have the fast growing population of youth. So why would the older people keep still governing and controlling African future? The youth face high unemployment, various high unemployment rate of poverty in Africa. In different kind of forms, they face this poverty in big time because they don't have employment. There's no jobs. There's not adequate jobs. There's jobs, but there's not enough for the people because the population is growing every day. It's the fastest population in the world, fastest growing in the world. They have problem of education inequality, lack of access of mentorship. Yes, African youth have lack of access of mentorship programs. Because Africa is huge, it's 54 countries, my people. But why will the youth of Africa be the one to take control of the future of Africa? If you check the history of Pan-Africanism, you check the faces of Africa, Americans or Africa innovation, or we transporting around the world, going around the world, it comes with a lot of energy, power, and it's all from the youth. It's not from the older population or the older people living in Africa or leaders. And Africa have one of the most populated record in terms of older people leading the youth. That more of our leaders in Africa, they are old enough to be grandfathers. Look at the video, my people. They have been given their own medicine. You see, these people created fake jobs and take the money, put it in their pocket. They lie that they want to liberate the people by building infrastructures, building developmental infrastructures. And at the end, they put all the money in their pocket and share between their mates and their peer groups. In terms of nepotism. So African youth need to take this and move on and move the glory of Africa for the better future. Not these older people. They sit and sleep and talk, and where the other places in the world are moving fast forward. We're talking of North America, you can see America. We're talking of Europe, they're moving forward. They're making good things. They're putting younger people in power in Britain, in England, everywhere in the world. I don't know why Africa have to be stuck in the same way, not moving while other people are getting better things done. A crucial component of this African youth taking charge of their future to their hand is because African countries need to build, how will I put it? They need to build transformative, good governance, and democratic institutions. They need to be transformative about it and a very good governance for the future of African youth. If they keep sleeping in meeting and keep acting this way, it's not the way forward, my people. Africa is a laughing stock. You can see the president of Russia, Putin, said African people go to Africa to die. That's like the Africa is this graveyard where people just go home and die. They live in Europe, they put their money in Europe, they invest all their resources in Europe. And most of these resources have been taken from Africa. And they take it down to Europe. But when they get to Europe, it's something different, my people. They don't think about where they're coming from. Or they come to America, they come to Canada, you know, the Western countries, or Australia. They don't think about where they're coming from. Then when they get old, they never think about to go back home and build like a nice hospital to take care of the people. Because in life, when we talk about food, good water, we talk about taking good care of our health, our health institution. When people go back home, they don't do that. They have fun, enjoy themselves, and just go home and die. So African youth need to take their future onto their hands and move forward with it. Because the numbers of youth is growing rapidly. The number of youth coming out of Africa is growing rapidly. In 2015, they estimated to be 226 million of youth aged from 15 to 24 years living in Africa. And our leader, they're still toying around playing with our lives, trying to commence fake projects, put the money between them and their family, through nepotism, destructing our democracy. So African youth need to take this up. You know, we need to do what we need to do for ourselves, for the future of Africa. Because at the end, nobody will do it for us. The older leaders are getting old and they are going, with the younger ones facing the consequences, going through it every day by day. We want to intertwine. We want to go around the world, see the world. We want to see the same qualities in Europe, in America, in Africa. We want to benefit all these people, all this youth in the Western region, in England, in America, in anywhere you talk about the fast developing continent, countries in the world. African youth want to have the same opportunities too. Because we are the main home. And it's been like this for a while. Why would the continent with the oldest universities create something? You know, my people, we need to do better. African youth need to take up Africa for the future of Africa. In the next elections, my people, let's vote in the youth, the younger people that can feel our struggle, not older people that are old enough to be a grandfather. So my people, on the podcast today, we just coming to talk about this, and I'll be coming to an end on the segment today. I'll be saying Africanity to the world. I'm not in here to put anybody down. It's unity over division on my platform. It's African unity. We're saying Africanity to the world. One people, one Africa, one unity. Thank you, my people. Check it out. Comment in the comment section. Share, like, and I'll come back with another content. Thank you. One love. One unity.